So can we start?
Yes, please, ma'am.
Look at the number of participants.
We are at
25.
Okay, we can begin.
So will be with you, right, ma'am?
Got to introduce Ms. Rai.
Then I will introduce. First you will talk and then I will introduce Roy, Rachna and everyone.
So yes, so begin with me then.
Once. Good evening, everyone. Namaste. A very warm welcome. I would like to introduce our dignitaries and guest speaker of the day, Ms. Sangeeta Puri, APER Joint Secretary, Mentor for TN Territory, Mayor Awardee, Head of Children's Academy Group of School, and the Chief of Non-Academic Board. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
I would like to introduce Ms. Troy Sinha, APER Territory Head of Tamil Nadu. She has over 2 decades of experience in the field of education. She has been a curriculum developer and a trainer. Her aspiration towards structured, standardized, and value-based learning was instrumental in driving her to establish and expand corporate brands. At present, she is with Chettinar Group as the director of Chettinar Sarvaloka Education International School and the vice president of Chettinar Niyoga Education and Services. Welcome, Ms. Roy.
Thank you, Indira. Thank you so much.
Our guest speaker of the day, Ms. Rachna Gupta, a very passionate storyteller, a Montessori trainer, life skill facilitator, counselor. She is associated with different schools and NGOs. She is currently supporting the parents and children in addressing challenges the pandemic has created. Welcome, Ms. Rachna.
Thank you. A big hello to everyone.
I would request Ms. Sangeeta ma'am to share a few words about APER committee.
Welcome all of you to the first professional workshop organized by Tamil Nadu Territory. And I'm happy to see the most vibrant territory head here, Ms. Rai Sinha, who's taking this forward. If I have to talk about APER, the full form is Association for Primary Education and Research. It is tailored around promoting the growth mindset, which helps ignite human greatness. It supports teacher training and programs that help in promoting the holistic development of children in the primary years. This Association for Primary Education and Research is a non-profit organization, and it's an initiative to bring together professionals, educators, and to see the same vision. And the vision is to let our children move in the right direction. And this is APER is one stop connection needed by all primary years stakeholders for enrichment, networking, awareness, and advocacy for children and everything that affects them to ensure that the children in primary years have a very smooth transition from their pre-primary years. And that is why we have branched out from ECA to APER. ECA, which looks after the pre-primary, and then we cater to the primary through APER. So I should not take a lot of time because I know the audience here wants to listen to Ms. Rachna, our eminent speaker here. So I will move ahead with the program, and we feel free to ask us about APER or ask the speaker about the topic that she's going to address today. Welcome, Ms. Rachna. Let's hope to connect with the audience and create this long-lasting experience.
Thank you, Sangeeta ma'am. And before I begin, a big thank you to APER and dear Troy ma'am for trusting me and selecting me for this opportunity to share my story ideas across. So here we go. So, storytelling is a very powerful and magical tool. not just for language, but for developing the personality of a child, or more say, whosoever become a part of it. So the children are natural actors. They imitate us. They not only read, when we read to them, they don't only hear to us, they read our emotions, expressions, body language. They see things deeply, differently, in details. So there is a magic when children are around us. You know, a 6-year-old girl mentioned about a pattern on a tapestry when we were reading a book on polka dots. A parent told me, Rachna, my child imitates you every day. I know what you are doing in a class. A 3.7-year-old boy can narrate an entire act with voice modulation if given an opportunity to be part of a live act, say during a school performance or a preparation for it. So children has that power of absorbing things from the environment. So we just have to create an environment of learning and growth for them. So how do I create that magic? How do I as a parent and a teacher do that? So there are props. So I'll take you to some story props I have in my room. So I'm going to, this is called Kamishi Bai. Kamishi Bai is a Japanese word made from kami means paper and shibai means play. So Kamishi Bai means paper drama or paper play. So it is a set of painted and printed picture cards, sturdy and beautiful picture cards with the text on the back. So a special line is also highlighted. So it is a narrative art form and there is a dramatic effect as you slide the picture gently and read the text for this picture, which is visible on the back of the next card. So how this create magic? Can you create this magic? Yes, an adult and a child can perform this using this set of cards. You can create your own cards. So size of these cards are like about 10 to 15 inches. They come in different sizes and you can use it to talk about subjects, you know, like this story particularly called Momotaro, I used in an online session to talk about coronavirus. This boy happens to eat dumplings, which were given by his old parent that are supposed to have a superpower. So he met different characters on the way and then they joined together in their fight against demons. So this story was linked to the fight against coronavirus, how we can eat superfoods. And then we can, with the super moves and being together, we can fight this pandemic. So this became a beautiful tool. Teachers can create this setup in their class. This set comes with and without frame too. So if there is a frame, it allows my hands to be free. I can enact. So the frame looks like this. It is a wooden frame. So this is a cardboard frame and this is a beginner set which I bought in Japan. So it is exactly resembles like that, a wooden frame. And then when you present a story, the person stands on the right side of you can sit and stand. Right now I'm sitting and this size is small. So if there is a set is small, I can use it in my circle time with children. So children can see, and as I slide and I read the text, the picture stays for a long time before I finish the text and slides it. So this creates an impact on a child. In this age of, online, digital, this is a beautiful experience, a shared community experience. It is a group activity which you can try. Okay. So what about if I don't have these cards? Can I do a storytelling? What about a book with no text? Let's have a look at a video Can we have Flora and Flamingo video, a book where there was no text, but a story can be created, a message can be created and shared across.
A couple of minutes.
So this story of Flora and Flamingo, which I came across with no text. So what can I do? How can I create a text? How can I create an emotion? How can child become a flamingo, or an adult can become a flamingo? And this is a child. So we can create a theater out of it also. So if the video is ready,
Just one more minute. It's getting
sure,
upload. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
I'm sure this allows the children to imagine, visualize, and brings in a lot of creativity. When there is no text, they can create their own stories.
Yes, and we can do in so many languages. The possibilities are many.
And then, yes, language is no barrier. Let's watch it. Enlarge the... Soumya, could you enlarge?
So this video brings beautiful memories of my stay in Japan. Also, how I connected with people from different communities, being different. I didn't know the language, but we connected, and we, you know, so and I have used many
Compliments and
different.
compliments. Everyone just
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, so it's all about making a connect. Storytelling is all about making a connect with children, and there is no limit to it. We can, how about if I have a book? What do you see here? This book, it says Gohan Gohan, that talks about rice meals in Japan. So when I got this book, of course, I learned about the different ingredients used in Japan in their daily food or season. As per the season, the food habits change. So I brought this book back, and I thought rice meals is very much an Indian diet. So how about linking these two together and giving the opportunity to children to talk about rice meals across cultures? So having these such books in your collections, and I request all of you to take your kids to different story sessions, be it in it need not be in your mother tongue. It can be African, American, the language you don't understand, because it will give them an experience, enriching experience. Trust me. I mean, this is what I did. I mean, I used to attend story sessions in different languages just to enjoy them and learn them something, some takeaways, techniques, how to connect to audience differently in a different language. Then we have a book called Power Cut. So when I came across this book by Tulika, it talks about the days when we had power cut. I lived through that experience, as a child in my grandparents' home. When there was no power, we used to enjoy that time. But now, can we give this experience to our children? No, there is so much of power backup. They live in a digitally comfort stage and age. And this book also talk about family games, the shadow play. The family plays this shadow game together, making different characters with hands. So is this not telling us about art, finger play? So after using this book, one can talk about games in the family, indoor games in the family, or one can share your life as a kid, So this can be your beautiful tool, prop for discussion and storytelling. Okay. Can a jigsaw puzzle be a prop? Yes, it can be. So in Japan, there is a family activity where they put together a pieces of jigsaw puzzle. And I came across this picture of atomic bombing in Hiroshima. I brought this piece back, and I brought a picture book on Hiroshima. So how I'm going to use this as a prop in my storytelling? There is origami, paper cranes, that talks about peace, harmony. Can we talk about peace and harmony through this picture, through this puzzle? Yes, we can. So this can be a beginning of a storytelling session or interaction with children, or this can be part of a story. This is a real life experience which we all, feel sorry about. So how about a calendar? Can calendar be my storytelling prop? This calendar has beautiful pictures. Again, a different season in Japan. This is Sakura, cherry blossom, season of cherry blossom. So can I use it? Can I use this picture as a prop to talk about seasons in India or in any country the child has visited or you're planning to visit? Can we do that? Yes, we can do that. Having this resource in classrooms or will be very helpful to initiate discussions on season, flowers. You can talk about botany, plants. The climate, so much can be taken to the next level. Okay. My favorite books have been that talks about movements. This book is Dungi Dance, and this is about Takita Tarikita bouncing ball. So there is an inspiration for writing I see in this book. So after reading this picture book, we can look for sounds in the environment with objects. We can create sounds and then if I find a ball, I can create movements. I'm giving this message to the child. I can play with it as a parent, as a teacher. I can explore props that can make sounds. My feet, I can make sounds with my feet. This book talks about a baby sheep who was part of a large family and she didn't get support for dancing. So, but gradually everybody joined when she started dancing. So it concept of family, large families being together and dance. So I will be using this book as for further discussions in my sessions with children. What about this? What do you see? A beautiful castle and some cherry blossoms. So this is basically a card. I'm sorry. Yeah. This is a card in laser cutting, which I found, which I picked during my stay in Japan. And they make cards for every season and festivals, be it fireworks, summer season, Tanabata. I mean, so I could see resource in everything. So again, I brought this back and I bought a frame and put it so that I can keep it and make it as a part of my sessions or even as an inspiration in my class to talk about castle, a story of princess, a lot of possibilities, isn't it? How about this book? What do you see? Moo. Yes, there are two cows. But what I see as a tailor, the beauty of patch embroidery. So after reading this book, probably if you are passionate about sewing, stitching, quilt, you can inspire children. So this has a rhyming name, Sheila and Leela. So there is lot a book can give us if we look it with a different eye. Okay. And wow, I think many of you can relate to the images here. So there is a temple, there is a sun. Where's the elephant? Here's the elephant. So this art I made after we did a story enactment with children, Gajapati Kulopati. So children made mini booklets in the classroom and I made this to capture that moment, a forever moment. So I like to keep it in my class or in my home to initiate discussions. And this can be my prop for art and storytelling. There is another video I would like to show you all where I have used a simple props like a tray, a dolls, paper dolls, and a carton in which I got tomatoes, so there was a gap in the center. I thought it can be turned into a theater. So I created a story video. So I would like to show it to you all if that can be shown. Story in a box. Let's enjoy this.
1 moment, Ms. Rachna.
So Rachna, basically, you are trying to tell that anything can become a prop for the story, right?
Yeah. Even if there is no prop, yeah. Thank you for playing the video. So what if I don't have any prop? what I'm going to use.
Or some.
Okay, yeah. So what if I don't have a prop? I'm going to get stuck? No, I'm going to use my body as a prop, my fingers, my eyes, my face. So let's say if I have to say I'm a boy, how can I say that? I'm a boy. I'm a boy. I'm a boy. I am a boy. So children can be made or can be shown how to use body as a prop. So there is endless possibilities, and I would like to hear from my audience and have some discussions. So please feel free to shoot questions, and you can contact me through APER. I'll be happy to take your questions, help you with developing props, or how to use a prop in your work with children or as a parent. So here I end my presentation. Thank you.
I think the audience can pose their questions in the chat box.
Yeah, I would request the audience to post their questions, please, if they have any.
So Rachna, in the meantime, when you get your questions, I think, yes, all got some idea that, we don't have to wait to buy
Sure.
things and
Okay.
get things done, and anything can be converted as a prop when you tell a story, right?
Yes, true, ma'am. So true. I mean, I need a space, and I need a person or a child around, and if it depends on the setting you are in. If you're in indoor, an outdoor, in a classroom, even if I'm in a train, I may, use the pulling chain. I mean, I will not pull the chain, but like something about the seat. Yeah. So I'll get energized and I'll be spontaneous with, to create a story or to engage a child, or maybe when you're in a train, you don't need a prop. Probably you look outside the window, enjoy the journey and look at the people around, interact with people around, sit with them, share a tea. I'll do that. Yeah.
So, can puppets and all that also be made out of whatever you showed?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
can you give some idea about that? That how quick
Yes.
puppets they can make?
Recently, a grade 1 student had to make igloo and a snow house and all that. So the parents had no idea. I just suggested few materials, like something which is in white and different textures. So I suggested maybe a socks or a foam or a white paint paper. So what they sent, they sent a very little stuff, and I used the coconut shell, the half of the coconut shell, covered it with the socks. With a bold marker, I made some lines, the walls of the igloo, wrote the child's name. I made a penguins with the paper, and the child likes the pink color, so I made a pink scarf for the child. I made myself in the story because it was a special bonding for me. So I created another character that we both are there, and then I made the ice with the foam and the water. I was, in that 15-20 minutes, I could put together a house. I was patting my back, God, and praying to God, Saraswati, thank you for giving me that wisdom,
I think that's a nice idea, having half of coconut shell as a glue.
Yes, I did it. I explore it.
Right. So, if there are any questions, Indira, have we received any question? If it's not there, yeah.
I have one question. If Miss Rachna, as you have shown us a wonderful variation of using props while storytelling. What else other than the prop is important, a very important ingredient for storytelling?
Your language, your body language. See, the joy, the love for, you have to express your love. You need to feel that love before you convey it to a child, because it's not about teaching some academics. It's about passing that love, that vibe, So your language, very important. Yeah, work on your language. If you want to teach your mother tongue, or you want to introduce language like English or other regional. If now we are in a multilingual communities, like many languages are spoken, so it will be good to invite friends from, have a mixed group of children and do a storytelling, and then maybe explore vocabulary. Say a pen, how do you say in your mother tongue? It next level of exercises for me. You can create games. I will be creating games out of it. So like I did a story on Milan, that the Chinese character, that Princess Milan in my, and then I created a game with chopsticks and bowls, and for children, so it's linked to the culture. You can take the story, live experience, you can talk about the story, and then can create a game till the children settles, but something which is related to that culture, that Milan, the character, is coming from. And even I showed the map, the world map of the children in different costumes, the greetings, the thank you. So I showed those maps also. I keep collecting such materials in different languages, because you never know. It's like making it more meaningful and enriching. So I use that world maps in my session with children here. How the different greetings, like arigato, Ohio. So how do I greet? With a bow, in India, like this. So you can just keep on, you can of course need to plan, probably, yes, what I'm going to do as a parent, as a teacher, but these are the possibilities. When you see a material, gather materials, the material will speak to you. You just have to have a heart and eyes to see it.
Like Sangeeta ma'am just said, that the material, the props, which you have already mentioned, the other elements, you mean the language is one. Of course, the connect to the child, what you mentioned in the beginning, and anything else which a teacher can think of in the class, like maybe the expression, the voice modulation. Lot of it.
Environment. I will also work in the space, and make it more inviting. A space, maybe if we want to do a story, there is a space for movement. I will check it if I want to do a story by using the floor, I'm sitting on a chair, how I'm going to use that space, is that space allows for movement. The child can move, or like if we have to enact, we need a space. If the story allows for enactment or for more movement, does my child has a safe space, safety aspect. Also, the child and the objects around, I will probably keep those things in mind also.
Yeah, Ms. Rachna, we have a question for you. How storytelling can drive a child towards positive behavior?
Thank you for such a lovely questions, because when children, you choose stories, there are how you connect a story to a life, so positive behavior, definitely. I came across a family where I heard there is a conflict in sibling relationships. So a young child is screaming at a ninth grader. There is no harmony when they interact. I was given that, and I asked parents for such feedback so that I can use storytelling to help my child. So I got this book about a frog and a tadpole family. When the frog became a big brother with 9 little tadpoles, he was not happy, because all the parent attention went to the 9 young tadpoles. So he was not open to his siblings. But gradually he learned that they are also growing, and we can play puzzles, blocks together. So this story conveyed that message of growing together beautifully, bonding as a sibling. So this is our positive behaviors. We can talk about bonding, the bonding in animals, the animals that live together. We can talk about those experiences also to a child. You can inspire through a story, definitely, positive behaviors. I feel definitely. Nothing but storytelling.
I think children don't like to hear lectures.
Yeah.
But when you give them this kind of positive behavior through a story, they definitely want to emulate. So when you show that there is a frog who's behaving in a certain way, or you show that certain character or an animated character wants to behave in a most positive way, that's the best way to get the children into practice of a good positive behavior.
I think we need to have a good collection of, good collection, or you can create your own story, you know, like,
Actually, hear do's and don'ts from elders. But if you do the same, I think through a story, they feel that, okay, you're not telling me to do it, but you're telling me, telling someone who did something like this.
yes,
So that is
yes.
a better connect for the children.
It's like an indirect message to the child about the behavior, to like shouting is not okay, screaming is not okay. So when he screams, how the other tadpoles feel, they don't feel like playing, they don't want to. So you can just express, you know, as I'm saying those lines, I'm also, you know, my body is also, because I feel it when I say those lines, I mean it. It's just not I'm reading, but I'm feeling it. So I think children do get the message, and you can repeat a story, you know, many times. You need not change the stories, you know. Every time they read, they get a different comprehension, learning, feeling. I mean, they get more, you know, every time they read it. So keep reading, keep it accessible to your child. I mean, why not?
Rachna, I have a question. Is it necessary to have a moral in the story?
No, no, not really. See, there are books on columns. I have a picture book on column. So that book talks about the culture of column, the festivals, the shapes, the geometry. So there is no moral in it, but it's up to, so there are definitely, I mean, a story can be without a moral, of course. Yeah. And you can ask, or you can do the picture reading with the child, you know, based on the images. What do you feel? So you can talk about, follow the child, what he feels, what he thinks. Yeah. So need not
I think
know.
what is more important, Indira, like Rachna is telling, that more than the moral, you know, the reflection is very important.
Yeah.
Because initially what used to happen, so the moral of the story is this.
So,
Yeah,
yes,
that's what. Yeah, I
How
never did moral actually. I never
right?
did moral in my stations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when the child is made to reflect what happened, what was the sequence of it, what happens at the end, and if had it been something else, what would have been the consequence? So when the child is made to reflect, I think that gives more understanding than just merely having a moral of the story, because moral gets communicated in the process.
Like
Yeah.
a statement. It comes as a statement, which child may or
Yes,
not.
it does an
And
internal.
also, I'll also say that, you know, don't rush for a moral in the story. Why we rush? We are the living examples in front of the child. If I want to talk about behavior, we are working on the child, but not on ourselves. My own behavior with my maid, with my neighbors, with my family members is teaching more than a book also.
Right. Right.
It is like,
So-
you know, we have this program at our school at Children's Academy, Lessons in Dark, where we just show them a 5-minute story, a 5-minute movie. And after that, there's no moral that we discuss, but we ask them, what did this character do? Did he do the right thing? What do you think should be done for this? So that's a kind of reflection, as Ms. rightly put it, that we don't want to push them and say that every story has a moral, but there are definitely things for the child to introspect, to reflect and understand, and maybe correct his own behavior from the same part. And what I like the most also is the space, use of space when you are narrating a story. Because if a teacher wants to just stand and narrate a story like an authority, the child will never get connected to that. But when she finds a space which is very warm enough, a cozy space, and she's surrounded by the children, just like our parents or our grandparents would like to narrate a story, bringing us very close to them, you know, in a very animated way. So that would bring a lot of warmth, and it wouldn't be like someone telling me to do something, but it is something that she's sharing some experience in a beautiful form. So that is very, very important for teachers to remember, that storytelling is not standing like an authority and narrating a story. So I felt that is also a very important aspect for the child to get comfortable in that space, because children are having a very short span of attention. They don't want to listen to you for a very long time, whether it is pre-primary or primary. And to get their attention is only possible when you create that comfortable space for them. And that becomes a non-threatening environment, which helps the child to actually start listening to you. So that is again a very important thing that you've mentioned.
And
Oh,
to add,
Yeah.
yeah, I would like to add also make it
Questions,
storyteller. Okay.
Yeah, we
yes.
have a couple of questions, Rachna, for you. Indira,
Yeah.
if you can take the
Yeah,
questions.
How important is naming the characters in the story to kids? To have the knowledge of attractive naming skills, what can we do?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to give a name to my character if it's not from a specific story. So if I've created an origami character, I'm just trying to make an old man or a king, I would like to give him a nice name. My drawing skills, how I have exercised him, whether I put him a coat, then probably I'll give him, it gives us a clue about the personality, the background, and then we can choose a name. For a play which we did in a school, which was in Hindi, Tamil, and English, selection of name was a challenge. Like which language should we select? Which a play which is in 3 languages. So I came up with this sound. Achoo. That was the sound of the name of the play we kept, and everybody loved that name. So I mean, you can cross with a name, you can a beautiful name. Can be so enlightening, or or it can create a divide, so choose your names. I would love to create a name, maybe a tongue twister. I will play with vocabulary. Maybe if something is dear to a child, I will create a word from that. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe a dino, or I will think of my child first and create a name. Yes, so that interest grows. Yeah, I will do that.
Thank you. We have one more question. What kind of stories can be best adapted for pre-primary?
Real life. I will just say without any second thought, real life daily stories, what they see in their communities, in their school life. No fiction, no fancy, no out of the box story, just simple day story. Knitting, a grandma knitting or stitching, mummy cooking, rainbow sambar, a mummy cooking a rainbow sambar where we have different colorful vegetables, that's a story. The aroma, you can play. So story weavers have good collections. So they are very real life stories. For preschools, nothing else but real life stories from their life. If you're in a city, maybe related to city life. If you're in a outskirts or a countryside, maybe what they see, the farm stories. So maybe to begin with, yes, real life stories.
What they can relate to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's
That's
one
both
more
meaning.
question. Is it okay to ask questions in between the story narration?
To whom? The children, you mean?
Yeah.
See, if again depends on my children in front of me. If it's young and it's early, I will not ask questions. I will just read story. I will repeat that story. If the child is older, I can be interacted with an older child, not to check his knowledge or comprehension of the story, but to create a thought or a point, to make a point, to draw the attention or something. I will do the interaction with an older and experienced child. Yeah. Not to check him, not to judge the child, or to check my own skills, whether I have told the story correctly, So children will tell you, if they will come and ask you, ma'am, let's do a story. So that will be your check, that how you have told the story,
No, but at times, Rachna, if suppose you're telling a story and you have very young kids with you, and you really want to draw their attention because it has prolonged that their attention is going here and there, perhaps a question may help also, like, and how the crow flew, or, something like that. So quickly then the attention comes back. So at times, maybe, 1 or 2 questions in between may help.
Definitely. Maybe
Not to check their knowledge, but to draw their attention.
Very true, ma'am. Like if the child I see is not listening, but
Yeah.
we also see that, if I'm reading a story to a group of children, the children at the distance are also listening,
Right.
So it also happens. Everybody in the environment are touched by a story. So if I see a child is not listening to a story, I may change my voice. I may, do a movement, starts a movement, to get their attention, So I make it more interactive, or may I ask them, let's do or play that character? Probably yes. If I have to do, maybe to get the oh, let's act like this, let's walk like this, let's talk, just to get the attention, maybe for a short moment. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rachna. We have one more question. I learned that storytelling involves multi skills into it. Can the one who is moderate or even poor in artistic skills like drawing and craft making excel in storytelling? If yes, what may be the steps to be taken then?
Yeah. So we talk about working on a child, but yeah, we know my limitations. I know what kind of stories or what are my skills level currently are. I cannot do every story or every kind style of storytelling. I cannot do. So what I'm good at, probably I'll focus more on that. And to develop myself, I will attend maybe a sessions. I'll give it a try, I will maybe sit with a group of adults, trusted adults, and see, okay, give a feedback. How can I do that? See, if you really, you can step up definitely with practice, or maybe do a same story many times differently, and you may gain confidence of doing a story. It depends. I mean, the group you're doing for a small group or a larger group. So I know it's all about confidence also, So with years of experience, your mind, like how we learn a car, it becomes a skill. So when you sit in front of this, the car will move. I mean, it'll drive. So I think it will become a training of your mind and thoughts, and you will get at it. You will become better at it. And it's a good art form to try. So I will say, please go for it. Get connected to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was nicely said, Ms. Rachna. I think,
Oh,
yeah,
I
because
thank you.
making use of your things, your own body parts and telling them, that gives the confidence and the trust, like Sangeeta ma'am was telling, the very stature, how you stand up and talk to the child. I think that confidence building in the children itself is going to take a lot. So skills, I don't think we needn't much about as teachers, as far as we have the interest and the passion to deliver it to the children.
And the beauty of the children is that they accept everybody. They love every adult in their environment. They don't judge you for anything. Even if you're imperfect, they love you. They forgive you. We don't. I mean, so that they seal your heart with their sweet gestures. They care for you. It's always a magical moment when you work with children. All I can say, they make you come back. So I'm sure when you're with children, you will come back again and again. Thank you.
And I think you already pointed out earlier also that if you are not good at good artistic skills, there are so many things readily available in your environment. You don't even have to spend, like a calendar. A monthly calendar could also be used as a beautiful prop, or the flowers around you, or the trees around you, or whatever, anything. Even if I have to pick up a
Even
bottle,
your glasses, ma'am.
glasses, yes. So it is just about an idea that you have to look at, make sure how you work on it. You can work on your expressions and your voice modulation and your body language. If your artistic skills are not good, work on the other skills. But I think there are so many things available, and especially for the little ones, it's so easy to connect with them, with their lively environment which is around them, and help them create a story along with them. Involve them into making a story, which they love the most. I think this children are the best storytellers. They love to give you long sagas about things that they've been doing. So there is no end if you are ready. If you are ready to give children a wonderful platform and a beautiful experience, I think there's no end. Every teacher can do in her own possible way.
Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you, APER team. Thank you, Sangeeta ma'am, for being here. And thank you, Troy ma'am, Treasury Head, and Indra ma'am for being in the session. Ms. Rachna, truly it was a wonderful session, where you briefed about the props and whatever is available and making the best use of the resources around, and how anything and everything possible around can become a prop and make it a very effective storytelling technique, right? And we thank all participants here who've been very earnestly and eagerly asking questions and making it a very interactive and a very engaging session. Thanking each and every one of you. A very happy evening. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank you
Sonia,
so much.
for,
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
hosting, and Indra. Try a very good start. Let's continue to cater to this, because this is one platform which is not looking at any boundaries. We are trying and connecting with all possible educators, teachers, and all. And there's nothing as in one expert speaker speaking. It is all about learning from each other. So when we open doors to learn from each other, this is what APER does, and this is what the platform says. So hope to connect soon with all of you again.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful. Rachna, thank you. It was a wonderful session. And congratulations to TN team for the first session, first workshop. And thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Very happy weekend. Be safe. Thank you.
Rachna was the inaugurator for our
A firework clap, please.
Thank you so much, Rachna. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Troy. Thank you all the participants. Thank you so much. Looking forward to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.